Hello everyone, this is Rabbitearsblog and welcome to my new TV show review series. Now I know that I've mentioned my random review videos, that I would be reviewing TV shows in my random review videos, but I have decided that it would probably be much better to review the TV shows separately since I've gotten so much praise from my movie reviews, and I would definitely love to make the TV shows I review really stand out from the other reviews I have done. Today's TV show review is on one of Nickelodeon's most well-known Nicktoons, the Angry Beavers. The Angry Beavers was a Nicktoon that aired on Nickelodeon from 1997 until 2001, and was created by Mitch Scour, who also briefly worked on Garfield Friends. It was basically about two Beaver brothers named Norbert and Daggett, who were forced to move out of their parents' dam after their younger sisters Stacy and Chelsea were born. The show after that event basically details Norbert and Daggett's wild and crazy adventures while they were living on their own. One thing I really enjoyed about the show was its humor. The humor on the show wasn't the type of humor that would gross you out or the type of zany humor you would find on Looney Tunes, but more like absurd humor where random things just happen in the show that you wouldn't expect to happen, like some of the odd endings of some of the episodes, such as did in the episode Creature Comforts, where Norbert and Daggett's odd cousin visits Daggett and Norbert, and at the end of the episode, it turns out that their cousin was somehow a space alien, even though the whole episode was mainly focused on how Norbert and Daggett were trying to rough it out in the woods. I also really enjoy the way that the show will use social commentaries as a part of its humor, such as mentioning Norbert and Daggett's favorite drink being Yahoo when they were actually referring to Yoo-hoo, which was a canned chocolate milk drink that was really popular during the 90s, and I drank it almost all the time when I was little. Even though the Angry Beavers made a lot of social commentaries on what was going on during society in the 90s, future generations would still be able to enjoy the show because the humor on this show is easily relatable to any generation. Another reason why I enjoyed the show is because of the relationship shown between Norbert and Daggett. Even though the relationship with each other is an exaggerated version of sibling rivalry, it still shows the real side of sibling rivalry shown in real life. First off, even though Norbert and Daggett argue with each other or threaten pain on one another, by the end of the day they still love each other, and it was that aspect of the show that really stood out for me because it shows that even though siblings fight each other, they still care about each other no matter what. I also love the scenes when Norbert and Daggett would try to help each other out whenever the situation gets intense, like in my most favorite episode, Faking It. Norbert was genuinely worried about Daggett when he thought that Daggett was sick, even though Daggett was faking it to teach Norbert a lesson. It's also interesting that both Norbert and Daggett are totally different from each other. Norbert is the smooth and cool beaver, while Daggett is the crazy, hyperactive beaver. And the clashing of their two different personalities really made the show truly creative and hilarious to look at, as the two brothers' personalities sort of bounce off each other, which introduces us to brilliant jokes being made at both characters. I also enjoy their arguments with each other as they sort of complement each other in the most imaginative way possible, as Norbert usually gets the best of Daggett because he's smarter, but when Daggett gets the best of Norbert, it's so surprising because since Daggett's considered to be not as smart as Norbert, it really brings a surprise element to the show, and to Daggett's character, and that really makes me really enjoy Daggett. The way that Daggett and Norbert's two different personalities caused two different brands of humor to appear on the show was impressive, as the show is both intelligent and silly at the same time, as Norbert is shown to be the character who has a clear head on his shoulders, while Daggett is shown to be the character who provides the show's eccentric nature with his silly hijinks he pulls with Norbert in the series. The best part about the show was the voice actors who provide the talented voices for these characters. Both Nick McKay and Richard Horvitz were brilliant in voicing both Norbert and Daggett. It seems obvious that both voice actors were really enjoying voicing these characters, as both Norbert and Daggett sound so energetic whenever they are in an awkward situation. Nick McKay did a brilliant job in voicing Norbert, as his voice sounds so smooth and calm, and it just clearly defines Norbert's calm and cool nature. It also helps that Nick McKay also did the voice for the troublesome cat on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Salem, which really made me admire Norbert's character even more. Richard Horvitz was awesome in voicing Daggett, the more hyperactive brother. I love the way that Richard Horvitz puts his voice at a high pitch whenever Daggett gets really excited or scared, and he clearly shows the energetic nature of Daggett very well. If I had a problem with the show, it's probably that I wanted the show to run for another season. Just one more. Not 2, or 3, or a gazillion seasons. I felt that because the show was abruptly canceled, there were so many more situations I wanted to see from the show, such as, will Norbert and Treeflower ever really hook up with each other? Will Norbert and Daggett ever come to a realization about why they were fighting each other all those years? These questions may never get answered, but at least the show ended on a high note. Also, concerning about the final episode, Bye Bye Beavers, which was meant to be the show's final episode, I can't really say too much about that episode since it never aired in the US. But I do know that it was a controversial episode as it explained to the audience that Norbert and Daggett have noticed that they are just cartoon characters and that they know they are about to be canceled. However, that's as far as I can go with that, since I'd never seen the episode or listened to the audio video of this episode. The Angry Beavers ran for 4 seasons, although some fans speculate there was a 5th season, with a total of 62 episodes. Now, since I am reviewing TV shows, my rating for TV shows will be much different than from my movie reviews, because with TV shows, they can both start off great and end on a bad note, or they can start bad and end on a great note. So they can vary a bit over time, and it also depends on how long I'm able to stick with the show till the end of its run. So instead of number ratings, I'm going to rate it based on thumbs up, thumbs down scale, which goes like this. If the show has a thumbs up, then it means that I love the show, and I would strongly recommend this show to anyone. If the show has a question mark rating, it means that the show is average, and I would still recommend it, even if it's not too great or not too bad. And if the show gets a thumbs down rating, then it means that I dislike the show, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Although bear in mind that these reviews are based on my opinions of the show, and you can still watch the show anyway, even if I gave it a low rating. So what's my rating with the Angry Beavers? I'm giving the Angry Beavers a thumbs up. This is clearly a fantastic series that really knew how to balance the silly humor with the intelligent humor, and created a brilliant animated series that not only brings out the best in 90s society, but also brings out great humor from the characters themselves. Well, that's my TV show review on the Angry Beavers, and be sure to tune in to my other TV show reviews in the future. I'm Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you later.